Two thrifty ladies here.
Two thrifty ladies here.
Hi, this is Allison from the Food52 Test Kitchen. And today I'm standing in my friend and down the hall neighbor. Her name is Erica, and she's also known in social channels as @TheChefSmartyPants. You prioritize being thrifty, reducing food waste.
Right.
And so I thought it'd be a really cool thing to team up with Erica so she can teach us a few of her nifty tricks. She's got some really cool ideas, so I'm excited to share them.
Yeah. So, it all starts with shopping, right? You have to go out, you have to buy your food. So this is a great option because you can just do it yourself, and you can even bring your own container. And you decide how much you want, and you have different flavors. And then, like things like grains, beans, legumes. But anyway, so we went shopping this morning.
Yes.
Of course, for years now, we've all been using our reusable totes.
Yes.
That's the number one thing. Especially here in New York, you have to pay for bags at the grocery store now.
Right.
So everybody's been well trained.
Yes.
If you compost in your house or in your neighborhood, you should bring your compostable bags to the store.
Yes, I just
to use, as your produce bags, because the produce bags they give you in the store usually are just plastic. They're not compostable. There's a certain chain of markets, we won't name by name, but when you check out, they give you those compostable bags to wrap your raw meat in, or sometimes they'll tie them around your eggs. You could just ask for a couple extras.
I had no idea about this. So
I
was
the stickers.
Yeah.
You know who we're talking about. Yeah. When we were talking about what we should focus on, I said, produce, I think, is a big area. So there are things you can do with your produce to prevent the decay and prevent the guilt, right? A little proactive. And there are also things you can do to get a lot more out of your produce to not waste. We know that chefs don't waste anything, right?
It drives me crazy. Yes.
It drives me crazy too. Unbelievable amount of people don't even realize that broccoli stems are edible. They're like, I didn't even know you could eat it. I'm like, well, if it was like poisonous, it wouldn't be sold in the store. You take those stems, right? Trim that up. And then there's like a tough skin around the outside of that broccoli stem. So all you have to do is take a knife or take a peeler and you cut off that stem. This way, this is your only waste, and this can go in the compost. Or if you have dogs love broccoli, and it's crunchy and it's good for them. This is what I call fillet of broccoli. This is super tender, juicy, crunchy. You can eat it raw, you can shred it up, you can put it into salads, right? But it's so good. If you're doing like a crudité, you put this out on the crudité, and then you play, guess that vegetable.
Yeah. Right? Would I be able to,
I think if you know produce, you might say kohlrabi. Because kohlrabi is just a broccoli stem. Yeah. Right? It's just a cousin of broccoli that's all stem. Yeah. Also, these leaves. The leaves on broccoli are actually the most nutritious part. So, So if you can find broccoli with a lot of leaf, you want to eat these. These are basically like collards or kale. Now, another thing we talked about was, you bring home the vegetables and then they start to go bad in your fridge. Yes. The big reason why vegetables start to go bad in your fridge, well, there's two. One is they start to dehydrate. The other is that they're coated in microbes. There's microorganisms, everywhere, right? So those microbes are hungry too, and they want to eat. So what you want to do is you bring home your vegetables, you cut them up, you prep them, you get them into whatever shape, size you want them into. Then you blanch them, your green things. I'm talking, broccoli, asparagus, green beans. You throw them in some boiling salted water for just 20 seconds. That's going to kill the microbes on the surface. Yeah. Shock them in ice water, get them really dry, put them in an airtight container, put them in the fridge. They're going to last for 2 weeks. Then also you have prepped vegetables ready. Right. So when you come home on a miserable night and you have to make dinner and you're like, oh, really? You see this container and you're like, oh, great.
So you can even roast them after you blanch them.
Oh, definitely. And with broccoli, I always blanch before I roast. Rehydrates it. Yeah. And it makes it a little more juicy. Because I find when you roast broccoli, it can get a little tough, right? Sometimes and a little too crisp.
They turn into broccoli chips, which
isn't bad. Yeah. But I do like to give it a quick blanch first. Another thing, when we were in the store, I saw this cauliflower. The first thing people would do with this would be what? Prepping. Yeah. Right. You would just whack it here. You take off that stem, right? And you think like, oh, I have to get rid of all of this. We could compost that. But look at these beautiful leaves in here, right? If you roast these along with your florets, these get really crispy and golden and delicious. So many students who buy this, They cut off the stems, toss the stems, and cook the leaves. The stems are edible. They're delicious. They're full of phytonutrients too, because look at that color. Some leafy greens have very tough stems, like some kale. And those sometimes I'll take off. But like this has this beautiful stem. All you have to do is sort of excise it like that, slice it up. When I saute, I put these in the pan first. Give them a little head start.
Take a little bit
and then the leaves, right? Yeah. Same thing with beets. These beet greens are the first cousin of these chard. Beets are basically the same plant as chard, but the beet sends its energy to its root and the chard sends it to its leaves. Yes. They're just the best, right? And they're so nutritious because I always say you're getting like double for your money because you're getting the green and the red. You've got your beta carotene and your chlorophyll.
2 for 1.
It's 2 for 1.
Cilantro and parsley.
Yes.
Here, and just using the stems as well.
I'm sure you make salsa verde, pesto, chimichurri, right? And most recipes will say just to use the leaves. But we've worked in restaurants. Right. We know we use the leaves for garnish. The stems can be pureed. So any soft leafy herb, cilantro, parsley, mint, basil, use those stems in there. Not only did, you paid for it and it's edible, but you have to think about like the resources that go into producing this, right? The people who grew it, the water, the land, the time, just the trucking, everything. You want to sort of honor that. So another one that I have seen this a lot where people use the outer stalks, but then they get down to this, the heart, and they think, oh, I can't, what do I do with that? I say to people, think of this like an herb, So what I do is I just pluck the leaves and leave them whole. And then these very tender inner stems, I'll just slice up like really finely on an angle like that. And you can make a great winter salad, when a salad of this and citrus and olives and onions, and amazing, right? How come we never cook together?
I don't know.
You live right down the hall.
Yeah, we're going to change that.
We're going to
next episode.
Yes.
Next episode.
Great. Now, one thing though with celery, it is very heavily sprayed. So I definitely always say to people, get organic because it is one of the most heavily sprayed.
I did hear that it's actually very difficult to grow.
It's very difficult
very
to grow.
hardy,
right?
But it's one of the more difficult.
And this is organic
to grow.
Yeah, right. You're a mom.
Yes.
You have 2 young daughters. I do not have kids, but you're always looking for snacks. And all the kids these days, what do they love the most? They love their little nori sheets, which are delicious, nutritious, and great. But the packaging.
And these come in a sleeve of probably like 6 or 8.
Yeah.
So it's in cellophane,
right?
These packages. Then you have this packaging, and then you have the plastic trays inside here. So it's overpackaged.
It like makes me want to cry. So we were shopping. Look what we found, the big version. So you could open these up, take
This was a discovery for us both.
Yeah, me too, because I had said, oh, let's just get big packs of sushi nori.
Yeah.
But it's not as delicious because this is roasted and salted. And then we found this.
Yeah, they got smart.
So you can just open this, cut it, and then put it in like a little container. But the thing about the nori is it's very moisture sensitive.
Yeah, this one's pretty airtight.
Yeah, but you could also use, have you ever seen these dwelling containers? Right. These are so awesome.
And I believe we sell these on the Food52 website as well. I've used them. I have experience with them. And it's pretty cool.
This is this pump, right? So they send you these great containers. You put the pump and you do that and it creates an airtight seal.
Yes.
So that really keeps your nori a lot fresher. A lot of supermarkets now have bulk sections and there are even now bulk stores opening up. I think there's a couple right here in Brooklyn that have opened where you actually bring your own container. So these are just some little red lentils. And when you buy in bulk, it's so much cheaper.
Yes. Yep. Okay. So we're talking about bulk.
Yes. So do you do this?
We have these red lentils. We do. And we have a bunch of little containers like these guys and these guys. One, red lentils, beautiful to display. Not that that's where you buy them. Lentils, rice, pastas. Pastas I just...
Oats, grains, beans, popcorn.
Yeah.
And then the last thing, we got a little almond butter from the machine at the store. So if you're a household where your kids can eat nuts or you don't have kids.
Yeah.
And I mean, I eat a lot of peanut butter. We go through peanut butter like crazy. I just make my own. Actually, you just buy the bulk peanuts, you put them in your food processor, you let it rip.
Right.
Yes.
But if you don't want to dirty all your own stuff, a lot of these certain grocery stores, but you can do your own nut butters
and different flavors.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
And I think in some stores now you can bring your own container. Or, what I would probably do, because I'm so thrifty, is I would use this, I would wash it out, and then I would take it back to the store and use it again, because I'm a little Michigan that way.
If you bought peanut butter and you wanted to recycle the bottle or the container it came in. Do you bother to do that? Do you wash it? Because it gets oily and it's very difficult to clean a jar enough to recycle it.
Yeah, so you know what you do?
What?
You take that peanut butter jar that still has some peanut butter left in it. You add some rice vinegar. You add a little sesame oil.
Make a little peanut dressing.
Shake it up. You make a little peanut dressing.
Where you're going with that. Yeah.
Right? The same thing with like a Dijon mustard jar. You make a little vinaigrette. In this building, we have recycling and composting.
Yes.
Have you noticed that your trash is like nothing? It's just packaging. It's just plastic and it's like so light. You know, like
which is wonderful. It's wonderful.
4 bins.
Yes.
We should go downstairs actually and take a look.
Yeah.
Right. Keeping food waste out of landfill is so important because food waste decomposes anaerobically in landfill and creates methane. And it's one of the major causes of greenhouse gases is food decomposing in landfill.
Okay, we're here outside at our building's compost bins, and Erica is kind of the self-appointed compost cop. And so we're going to show you a little bit of what not to do and then what you should do.
So in our building, we use the city compost. You can put any food scraps, animal, vegetable, you know, like everything can go in there. But you can't put plastic.
Which
you can
think would be
compostable bags, which are these. But this is a bag from a cereal box. And I am always coming down here and picking out all the plastic out of the bin. You know, and I opened up this, same thing.
Oh, gee, I didn't realize it was this
regular old plastic grocery bag. Yeah, regular old plastic in there. Same thing with this. This is just a regular produce bag. Oh, God. This one, though, whoever. Okay. This is a good one.
Yeah. A++.
Now, I don't know what's below it, but at least the top layer looks like we're doing the right thing.
Know.
This is not a compostable bag, so I just come down. I do that. All right. I fold it up on itself. And I either leave and drop it in the garbage or I take it back upstairs and put it in the trash.
And we got to lock them because we don't want critters.
We get critters. This may be Brooklyn, but we have raccoons. We love composting.
Yes.
Woo!
Super fun.
Hey! Day.
Thank you for sharing all your tips.
Yeah, sure.
For April, Earth Month, and all that. And we're learning all sorts of tips and tricks. And yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for being a good neighbor.
And next time we're going to cook.
Okay.